can we support you today? What is your challenge?
We have days where we have amazing foot traffic and all of the feedback is always so positive. There's just not enough of that every day. We're a secret that doesn't want to be a secret.
I'm unclear what you want us to do there. There's nothing worse for a customer than not knowing what you want us to do. And you're saying you don't want people to forget you.
Right. And with ChatGPT, it definitely makes weekly way more doable.
Have you ever felt like you are your town's best kept secret? Like nobody knows that you exist, and you're like, I know that we're an awesome store. We take care of our customers, but I need more people to know about me. Well, if that is you, then prepare yourself for an awesome conversation on the special segment, Retail Therapy, where we give therapy to retailers. Today, we are joined by the owner of TaylorMade Designs. Taylor herself is here, and she asked that question, man, people, I need more people to know us. I feel like we're the best kept secret. And Bob Phibbs, our retail doctor, who is also our therapist today, dropped a lot of, oh my gosh, a lot of ways to grow visibility, to both from the in-store experience and what that should look like and feel like, and a really great checklist for Taylor, as well as things that she can be doing online. We really talk about both digital and in store. And Bob's got like just a really great riff he has at the very end of today's episode about what it takes to make it in retail today. He has been in retail for 35 years. He's worked with big brands, small brands, and knows what it takes. So be sure to listen to this entire episode. I've got to share, we had some technical issues a little bit filming this. Taylor dropped off a few times. We lost her. So Bob and I just kept talking. If you're watching this, you might notice that Taylor kind of goes away and then sometimes isn't there. But we just wanted to make sure we kept filming. So you'll notice that. If you are watching it, Bob shares his screen and goes through her social media a little bit, as well as he does some awesome AI prompts. You could see what he's putting in. You could see what AI is generating back. And it's also doing graphics, which is great. Bob also helps you, our listeners, and Taylor take all that you're creating with AI and then create actionable plans for yourself so you get the work done. So this is an episode that you can really act on. I know you're going to love it. So let's dive in. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Crystal Vilkaitis, the Wolf of Main Street, and this is Rooted in Retail. Welcome back to Retail Therapy, a special segment on Rooted in Retail where we give therapy to retailers, but we are not actual therapists. We are retail pros, business consultants, and today's therapist, I am joined by Bob Phibbs, the retail doctor. Bob, can you take a minute and share a little bit more about you for those of the listeners who maybe don't know who you are?
If you have a brick and mortar store, I am the guy. Brands as big as Lego and Google and Hunter Douglas and Yamaha have come to grow their sales, to get their profits, and convert more lookers to buyers, all the way down through medium-sized companies and even down to smaller moms and pops. I'm the author of the Retail Doc's Guide to Growing Your Business. You're welcome. Small plug there. And my online training, Sales RX, is what is used across 4 continents for retailers who are trying to really understand that it's making a customer feel that they matter so that they end up buying the merchandise. It's not about price or discount. It's about what you create in that store.
Awesome. Love it. And we love the plugs because you have so many great things to help support our retailers. And we're honored to have you here. And we are joined by our guest, Taylor, who I've known Taylor for over a decade, I believe. I always love seeing you and your mom at the Atlanta market. You guys have come out to Evolve. So I'm thrilled for us to help you today, Taylor. Before we dive in, will you just take a minute and share more about you and your store?
Yes, my name is Taylor Sumrall, and I am part of a family owned business in our small town of Opelika, Alabama. This is actually a family business that has been going on my whole life, but I have been back to work full time because I always joked I was going to get a real job. So I've been back 13 years running our retail storefront. My mom and I do it together, and we're really lucky that we make a really good team.
Yes, you ladies do. And you're doing some cool stuff. You have some things going on. How can we support you today? What is your challenge?
It's kind of a joke that's not meant to be a joke that we are the best kept secret in Opelika. Except we don't want to be a secret. We want everyone to know. Um, we have days where we have amazing foot traffic and all of the feedback is always so positive. You have a great store, you have cool stuff. I had so much fun here. And yet there's just not enough of that every day. So we're a secret that doesn't want to be a secret.
So I tailor made designs. I'm on your website. So your opening line is when the gift needs to be special, shop tailor made. Do you think that's the best thing you could say to get people to want to buy merchandise from you?
Probably not. And I have learned in the last like 2.5 weeks that we are not excellent at our storytelling. I know how great we are, but I'm not great at communicating it.
Okay, so who is your
Probably
best customer?
middle aged, has a family, has lots of different events that they buy for. So, birthdays, holidays, or activities that they have a new outfit, they want to come get gifts and accessories for those things. Typically, very girly.
Well, your site looks more like a digital brochure to me than something I would go
So, we do
um,
not have a shoppable website.
take home a piece of Opelika with our
We do
what?
not have a
It doesn't have to be
yeah,
shoppable. It doesn't have to be shoppable, but and I'm only here to help, not
yeah.
hurt. And so I just wanted to take a quick. You have a great picture of you and your mom there. I like that. And you got TMD on the road, but you got dates from May and June and July, no current dates. So that's not a great welcome for most of us. I think you really want to think of um, the and I just picked the website first because that's your most obvious to get new
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
right? Um, it just doesn't really say why I should come in and see you. It says what you do, but I'm just not. It's too sparse. It's kind of outdated design. No offense, but you have find us, but it would be better to have a map there so that they could know exactly where you are. 120 South 8th Street. What would be the cross street there? You're at 8th and what? What are you close
A
to?
Avenue.
Okay, and is there like a Piggly Wiggly or a Ace Hardware or something that's right around there?
We're a historic downtown, so only basically mom and pops.
Great. So in the historic downtown, even that would be helpful so people knew where you were located. So that's the first place I would think about, and just try to think of who online what you're trying to do with that. And you're a gift store, but the first picture I look at, it looks like you're making jewelry, and is that it, or you also have clothing as
No
well?
clothes.
So you only sell
Jewelry and gifts.
jewelry. Yeah, but that first picture to me looks like you do like jewelry repair or something. That's my
Okay.
point. I think you do better to have a prettier picture of your actual store there to begin with. What have you done with video marketing or video of any kind?
Reels on Instagram.
Okay, I'm looking at your Facebook page here real quick. Uh, you're doing a sips and clips. You have a picture of a bunch of merch. I'm looking at your store here. You've got a picture from July 26th. So you have a hutch. Can I share? Oh gosh, we could share. Awesome. There you go. So the concern I have is that's a lot of stuff on an old dresser, and it nothing stands out. The and again, I'm just brutally honest here, my friend. So when I see the white shelving on the bottom right, it's a lot of white shelving, and on the top we have a bookcase. It's not really well lit, so it's hard to see what's in those little cubbies. So if it was me, I would say, I get you want to use the old fixtures because it makes it sort of interesting, but are you trying to put too much in too small a space? Because that can make it hard to shop. and people can come in and they can say you've got a great show store. I never want to hear that. I don't care if I have a great store. What tells me if I have a great store is you bought something today, right?
Right.
Um, and I'm just gonna try to boil the ocean with you. So that's one. What do you have a and that pink, I guess, is one of your colors that you like to use. Is that it? That's one of your signature colors.
Absolutely. This, pink right above me and this blue. Yeah, those 2.
And that turquoise.
Yes.
That's a interesting choice. So it can read dated, just so you know. The walls uh, with a nice, clean white would be better than a gray. It's a little institutional for me than a gray. But this example we have here. So what are all those products
It's Innis.
that you're looking at on the right? Our favorite summer scent.
It is,
But what are they? What does it do for me?
I guess if you didn't know about it, nothing.
Again, you've got a lot of merch that's put together without doing the next part of the homework. I would not have that bag on the top left. You need a sign that would say something like, again, I'm not clear what the product is, um, but don't smell like an old sweaty boot. I don't know, but it would at least get my attention. Be like, what the hell are they talking about there? Or you're in Alabama, so are you near the water or something? Is that it? You're near
No. Um,
water or
no,
no?
about 4
Okay.
hours to the middle of the state.
Okay, so I'm unclear what you want us to do there. There's nothing worse for a customer than not knowing what you want us to do.
Okay.
So we should know if you want to make a big deal about where we are and why we should buy that. Um, take a piece of art home with you, and not just the memory or something like that. But you really want to be clear on what story you're telling that customer because it's really hard. Oh, happy birthday! You really want to be clear on what. Oh, there's a video of yours.
Oh, that
I don't know if we can listen in. We may not be able to, but
it's
let's
kinda
see.
long.
Okay, so you're giving away gift cards. 10-minute video. What is that? All that's on that
No,
video?
so we just celebrated 25 years in our storefront, and I had done 25 posts on
Perfect.
social, and that was answering all of the questions. So it was 25 minutes or 10 minutes because it
Great.
answered all of those. So they and then I gave away gift cards at
Okay.
the end.
Okay. Um, you might try something like because you really want them to talk about you, don't you? You really want them to talk about what's their interest. Is it better to give flowers? Your husband forgot your anniversary. Would be better he gives you candy or flowers. That'll get more people to be interested in and jumping in. That's what your goal is. You really want to think of you when you ask your audience. What do you think? What would be the best advice you would have for not doing Elf on the Shelf again? It's like you really want to be thinking, all right, our audience is moms that I'm going after and get them engaged. But like all these birthday cards is I just don't know why you've got that there. No one's going to buy these cards online like that. So pick one and say, like that, make today amazing. You only have 5 words on the inscription on the inside of this card. What would you write to your best friend? That's going to get people involved. They're going to comment, hopefully. How many people do we have here? 40, you have 4,000 followers, so that's great. But what I look at is there's very few comments on this. There's very few likes. Well, there's 17 there. That's good. But not a lot of comments. You don't see, them jumping in or them saying, "Oh, yes, that's it," other than love it. What you're really looking for is people have a dialogue with you. If you go to Retail Doc, my Facebook page, you'll see uh, people will jump in and then the community talks to each other, and that's ultimately what you want to do. Where do you have a list of customers,
We have
like email addresses, that kind of thing?
a loyalty program that they opt into, yeah.
And so how many people do you have on that?
800 and something the last time I checked, which was in June.
Okay, and how often do you talk to them?
Probably once a quarter.
And what do you tell them?
Usually it's in-store events or information.
Okay. So, what's unusual in August in Opelika, Alabama? What's
We're
unique in your
football
neighborhood?
season.
Football season. Okay, fine. So, what's unusual? What's something that only Opelakians would know about, let's say, the second or third week in August?
This year, our
That must be what they're called.
Opelika, you were close. This year, our 2,
Okay.
we're right next to Auburn, which has Auburn University, if you've heard of that one. Our 2 high school towns are having their 100th anniversary, of their rivalry game.
And when is that?
September
That's September, though, isn't
September
it?
4th, but it's like the 2nd game of the season.
Okay.
It's pretty close.
Okay. So, what are you going to plan around that then?
W
And how do you gonna support that then? What's in your store that could support that?
we make game day accessories, for the town we're in, not the rival. We're in Opelika, not Auburn. Um, and we've not had a plan to promote that yet. It kinda just hit our laps. I wasn't aware that it was the 100th anniversary. Um,
Good. So let's brainstorm it. So what could you do? What could you do?
we're trying to think it was brought up buttons, some sort of, like, cute, funny buttons to commemorate, because we can do a lot of our own graphics. No?
Do something better than
The
that. Buttons you're not gonna make money on. That's a loss leader. So what else?
um, I don't have any other ideas yet.
Well, you make everything,
We
don't
do.
you? So you can make easily T-shirt that's like beat their butts or something, or I don't know. But you gotta be clever, and you could use Chat GPT and say, "Give me." In fact, we're gonna do that right now.
Bob, that's exactly what I started typing. I love that you're going there
It's like, let's
because,
just
we can
do
get
it.
some fun ideas.
All
ChatGPT
right.
is always my last idea.
It should always be your first because it can do the heavy lifting that you don't have to think.
Yeah.
That's the reason why we're showing this. It's not so much, um, but you have to have a thought about it. I have a gift store in Opelika, Alabama, and the big rival between the high schools is between Auburn and our high school. In my gift store, give me 10 fun ideas I could put on t shirts. Our mascot and their mascots are the following. What are their mascots?
Tiger and bulldog.
And who's who?
Opelika is
Auburn.
Opelika's the bulldog, Auburn's the tiger.
Auburn is tiger and Opelika is bulldog. I want to see both playful and trash talking. Our customers are mainly going to be alumni and parents. I'm not allowed to use the mascot. You should follow school's colors if you can find them. The product goals is gifty, so I want something that is high velocity seasonal around football games. Go. For all of you listening, if you're just listening and not watching it, you always want to be using chat because it does the heavy lifting. I can decide all of these ideas and go, that's garbage. I would never use it. But I don't have to sit here and try to think of them all. Grew
Mhm.
up on grit, not gimmicks. That's kind of cute. Auburn parents cheer, Opelika parents coach. Oh, interesting, cute. All right, megaphone versus playbook, bestseller, parent section T. So just from that, we could say you could have a parent section T of 8 designs,
Yeah.
right? Or 4 designs, but you would be able to make a display around that, is my
Yeah.
point, right? Opelika, the town Auburn warned you about. Cute. All right. Auburn High Tigers, you can't spell trouble without tiger. All bark, no bite. That's Opelika. Okay. Tiger raised, bulldog proof. We bleed blue. They just bleed. Do limited. So it's already telling you do limited editions, number 2 in the rivalry series. Use local lingo. Add a QR hashtag. So for game day schedules or fan chant audio. Um, yeah. So which one do you like the best of all of these? We'll come back to this. All right. I'm going to choose this one because I just want to get something while we're talking. We're going to continue and we will come back, folks at home. Yes, make up a. Crystal, do you want anything? Because you were.
Yeah, I'll just add some of my favorite ideas that came up here. So limited edition jerseys, similar to what you're talking about. That might be harder to pull off, but cool. Trading cards with a twist. I mean, like the card aspect is, and you work with a local print shop. I think that could be something fun to pull off. Trash talk T-shirts, pet bandanas, 100-year time capsule selfie booth. So again, like that foot traffic. I mean, this is where I hope our listeners are really pulling this together. So when we're looking at these local things that are happening that can drive the traffic, Taylor's really looking to be known, not be this best kept secret. So what's going on locally? A huge game is going on locally, 100-year. So how are we participating and showing up and being the business is like the place everyone's got to stop and get their gear or be a part of this. And that then becomes content for social that will get some local traction for sure, possibly become viral, and it's driving people in. You're being known for something. So I'm just loving where you're going with this, Bob.
Of course you are, because we think alike. While you were waiting, we came up with one, and this was Auburn Parents Cheer, Opelika Parents Coach. Very cute. Would be easy to go. Again, you would try to be thinking of not being generic. That's the issue. That this is a T-shirt you could only have bought if you came into our store, right? That's the point of all it. It's a little It might be something you have on the back of it. It could be something else playful, but the idea is you don't have to do the heavy lifting of what are we going to say and what will we end up doing. It's like just keep asking it. I could spend probably 30 minutes on this and end up with something pretty great, but that's only going to give us that one promotion, and it's tough because you don't know with how many people would buy it, etc. But the point of all of it is that you have something that is happening, 100-year rivalry. The more you could have the dates on there, 1925 and 2025, but it's an easier focus for us to quickly understand. If you're not here, you're not here. So you could sell it for a month ahead of time and give them, if there's any left over, go to the game and throw them out to people,
Yeah.
just be done with it. But it gave you a chance to have something for marketing. And this all came back from us originally starting with your uh, email list and how many people you have on there. I think the danger so many people, smaller boutique retailers do is we think that the list has to give them loyalty. We got to give them points or money back. And I don't think that's the best way to go. Just being honest with you, I think that we often end up giving away more margins with this excuse that it's what gets them back. But often it's the people that would have shopped with you anyway, and
Mm.
so you might be just giving money back to people who say like, "Well, I don't need the 20% off or the 10% or the 5% or whatever. What else can you give me?" So maybe your loyal fans, if you think this is that big of a deal, and maybe it is, maybe you have a little booth there at the football game, and you're going to sell them there as well until you sell out. I don't know, but I think the days of having a store full of merchandise that you expect the customer to figure it out are just done. We have way too many choices. We go online to buy. That means my printer needs a new HP 54 printing cartridge. I'm going to go and I'm going to buy that online. I am not going to go down to the Staples Center, Staples with their sacred scrunchie of keys to unlock the $30 cartridge and say, "Oh, may I please buy this?" I'm not going to do that. But if I go into that store, woe is to them if they think that's all I'm there for, because I went in there knowing, yeah, I'm going to pick that up, maybe get some paper. Oh yeah, I guess I need some pens. Then we start building it. The same thing with gifts. We think that, oh, are we buying for a special event? Oh yes, I need a pair of earrings. They don't say that. They're going to be in there because they want to discover something else. They're there because they're looking to say, what else have you got? So building the basket at a gift store, to me, and I'm sure you would agree too, Crystal, is um, easy because we have people who they're buying gifts for gosh sake, and so you could say start buying now for the holidays for that hostess present you forgot, for that birthday party for that uncle's birthday party that you never have the right item for. It's a million things, but I think we get caught up in gift stores thinking you're a destination that I'm going to go and buy like I would if I was online, and I just think that's wrong. Would you agree, Crystal?
Completely agree. And that's where, like you were saying in the beginning, looking at Taylor's Facebook photos and looking at the merch there and making some comments, you know, what I was thinking about during that too is you so hit the nail on the head with the messaging and the story and the signage and how we're communicating and selling the product. But then also when the customer feels like it was easy to buy and it was entertaining, the signage was funny or helpful or whatever I felt in that store, and it was easy to find things and I enjoyed my time in there, they're going to go tell their girlfriend when they're meeting up for happy hour after she's done shopping. Like, that's where we start getting that word of mouth marketing in of the experience aspect. And so, I like that that was sort of one of the first things that you did, Bob, is look at those pictures to really see like what's the vibe, what's happening here in the store, so that can be communicated to all, from word of mouth marketing, which can so help build, so you're not the best kept secret.
So I think the challenge, I think, again, for an awful lot of particularly smaller stores is we get so caught up in we have instead of you want, and that's why the more you can be really focused on, if you're in California and it's the Santa Ana winds are blowing in October. That's what we can always assume on. Well, great. What can you do with a T-shirt with that, or what could you do with having fun with people that are outside? And it's hot and it's windy. Maybe you're in a hardware store and you've got to figure out, well, what would people need in that event? Well, okay, so they might need rakes, they might need all sorts of, but your focus is this. I know our neighborhood. That's where I'm going, and this is what's going on in our neighborhood right here. It's not some generic Home Depot falls here, so get out the ice boots, and you're like, well, we don't have ice. Why the heck am I seeing that? Because it's something that's just a little too generic. Can you tell me, what do you sell the most in your store, like as a category?
Earrings,
Like 50% or so?
earrings specifically,
And how much of that business I mean, what percent of your business?
um,
Half
jewelry
is earring?
40.
You'll want to know those numbers. So just so you
Yeah,
know, if you don't have that, you should have the top 10 categories, because that tells you what you should be spending your time on. It's nice to have, you know, um, Opelika t-shirts, but if no one's buying anything and you just have that pillow that's been there for 20 years, probably not your customer. You just want to do more with what you're doing well with and get rid of the bottom 20%, whatever that is. Does that make sense, Taylor?
absolutely.
Yeah, well, one thing I actually wanted to ask you, Bob, Taylor mentioned that she's got this loyalty list of 800. She sends about once a quarter. I kind of feel like there's an opportunity to send more often. You talked about it doesn't have to be discounting. I'm curious, what would you say, is once a quarter enough, or should she send more?
No, you should always do more. I do mine every Sunday night, just so you know, and there's a reason for that, because it works, and it's the number one way that I hold on to my customers. But this is, again, just to show the power of everything. Okay, so I have 800 loyal listeners on my loyalty program, and I need a compelling group of newsletters I could send out for our store there in Opelika, starting with August 3rd all the way through Christmas. Can you outline what each newsletter would have, with three interesting points for our store, which is basically a gift store, jewelry store, etc.? Again, this is why we do it, because I don't have to do the heavy lifting here. I would have, and if I had my druthers, I would have given it, this is what I sell exactly, but here we go. So already starting, we're more than ready. We're more than ready for back to school gifting. Feature teacher gifts, dorm room accents, back to school jewelry. Next week, Friday Night Lights meets Saturday Style. Last sips of summer, summer clearance. Bulldogs or tigers? Time to pick your side. I love that, actually. I think that's really
Yes.
great.
Yeah.
And there's where your coach T is. Again, notice how smart it was. It remembered what it had just done.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the rivalry. I like the rivalry gift bag, but not a flash deal. I don't care about that. So late September, here they all are. Fall is officially here. So if you're thinking like, oh, I don't know what to do, loyalty gift, free fall sachet with purchase. So let's get petty. I love that. That's great. T-shirt, talk. Man, that's impossible to say. T-shirt trash talk feature. Show two sides. Game day snacks, serving sets, local fan contest. Win a 50 store gift card. With the biggest rivalry you can show. Anyway, I'm not going to go through each of these, but you can clearly see there's no reason to say I don't know how to do it. So I'm going to pick. I'm going to pick. I'm going to pick. Great. Great. Would you write my September 14th newsletter based on what you came up with and give me an image at the end as well? I want to keep this really playful and fun and maybe even a little petty. So you don't have to do the heavy lifting. Let it do it and then say, well, we wouldn't say it that way. We would do it. Great. But you know what? I didn't have to sit here and like Crystal and I are both content creators, and I won't kid you. To try to come up, I don't know 350,000 followers on LinkedIn and 20,000 on Facebook and all kinds of other places, and to have to kind of keep thinking every day how many. Plus, I have two podcasts. It's overwhelming, and a newsletter. So when I get the idea, and I would be a little bit on my own, I would do something certainly. I have my ideas pretty well thought out, but it's like, how do I frame them? How do they link together? In your case, you're just starting out. Just go through and just try it and see. Now that what it looks like, what it's going to create for us is going to be an actual PDF, which is interesting. I don't think it's writing. Yeah, I think it's just going to do that. So now that we've talked about that, do you think that's something you could commit to, a weekly newsletter?
I would set the goal to be monthly and work towards weekly.
How about every 2 weeks with the goal to be weekly? You're coming into the you're getting in the money months here,
That is true. That is true.
and you're saying you don't want people to forget you.
Right. And with ChatGPT, it definitely makes weekly way more doable. That was incredibly fast.
Yeah. No, it's gonna show us the PDF of the entire thing. So how cool is that? Again, you don't have to be overwhelmed by it, but I would say that this big game is good, and humor sells.
Yeah.
One of the way I made my first client 30 some years ago was he was a little he was a little coffee roaster, and he had oh, look at that, and there's both of our t-shirts together.
Love it.
Petty gifts you'll love. Yeah, that's pretty brilliant.
Yeah, for anybody listening to this versus watching, we're looking at Bob's screen and ChatGPT designed what the newsletter even can look like. So you can even go into your email service provider. Obviously, you'll build it in your email service provider, but it's showing you like where the headline is bigger, where you have body text versus a headline, where you insert your photos of the product, where the link is to shop new arrivals. It's so good.
Yeah, it's just really easy, and I think the he was just to finish the thought. Mike was going up against the second Starbucks supposed to open from him 100 feet away from him, and the first one had opened 10 blocks from him, and he'd been losing 10% of his business every month for 8 years. He actually owed more than he sold in a year, and ultimately, when we got right down to it, I came up with his marketing slogan, which became "Down the street from ordinary," which stuck. And after a year or two, he's like, "I think we need to change it." I go, "Dude, you will get tired of this long before your customers will." So they're coming in and talking about it. Oh, I was out at Ordinary Coffee yesterday, and that rivalry, that kind of it's us versus them, always works well. And I just got to say, I love the so much trash talk. Petty gifts you'll love. I think that is just inspired. That wouldn't cost a lot to make, and you could have an awful lot of fun with that. So I
Definitely.
feel like my work is done here, but I think uh, you're saying you don't want people, and the only way you're going to stand out is to not just be the same store with. I also liked in here it says we're not saying we're better than that Auburn gift store across the tracks. Like there's this Auburn, we don't even know if there is one, right, Crystal? It's just like we're not saying it, but there probably is. And if you're trying to be memorable, if someone took the time to come into your store and you're not converting, then you have a soft skills problem because not everybody may talk like you, walk like you, um, understand, and that's what I make a living at, is retail sales training. So how do you develop the soft skills that is invitational and makes people matter first, and then you sell the merchandise? I think too many smaller retailers think it's all about the merch. Oh, we have the cutest products. Oh, I love going to Atlanta and I love going to Vegas and the magic show. It's like, yeah, I get all that, but who cares? At the end of the day, if it's sitting there, which, by the way, if you don't have dates on your merchandise, you all should. I don't care if it's a little colored sticker, if it's, I mean, ideally a POS would do this on the actual barcodes, but you really want to see how old your merchandise is, because merchandise starts to stink after a while. It's like milk, even though you may say, well, we've had it here for a year, but it always sells. Yeah, well, it's been shop worn, it's gotten dusty, or you're just bored with it, and so it may not be as interesting. And the last point, just on your display there on the hutch, that needs to have different heights. When you're selling jewelry, it should all be well lit from above. And if you can't, you can put rope lights in some of the cubicles. Put a frame on the outside so we don't see the individual lights. Otherwise, you look like a vape store or something. But if you can face it, it can look pretty classy. And just think about how you entice a customer to focus, this is for you, versus, oh, we've got earrings over here, and we got other earrings over here, and we've got earrings over here, and we got earrings over here, and just discover the place. Like, no, I have too many choices, and there's nothing in your store I need other than maybe the petty t-shirts. But I want it, but you've got to help me close out the noise so that I really want to do that.
That all
Love
makes
it.
sense.
Awesome. You know, I and Taylor, just a couple of things. I think channels as well. So really understanding where your customers are. Google, sharing. So now that we've re-merchandised and we've got these signs, we've got our messaging and storytelling down, we're fueling that into our website, into our Google profile posts, into Facebook, Instagram, wherever you're showing up and your customers are using. But don't underestimate the power of just posting to your Google profile, which is organic. And if there is an ads budget, then, doing a radius around the store, 10-15 mile radius around the store with the strong messaging is really going to help capture that attention. When we do our ads, but we don't have the strong messaging, we can still lose and waste that budget. We're seeing really great things for local advertising, but we've got to have the right messaging there too. So, Taylor, how do you feel?
That was a lot.
Yes, it was a lot, but man, some really fun ideas. And I know
Really
for our
did.
listeners too, you can adapt everything that Bob talked about today, leverage and lean on AI. It's there to really support you and speed you up. What's going on locally that you can really capitalize on, be known for, and stand out, and what's happening in your store from a messaging perspective, and really telling that story and helping the shopper shop so they keep choosing you and tell their friends. Bob, this was so awesome. Any final parting advice for Taylor?
I would make a recording of this, or download the recording, or if nothing else, take your phone out and record it when you're listening to it. And then I would put that in and transcribe, get that into ChatGPT and say, give me my top 10 things I'm supposed to do with a priority list, and make yourself a checklist and just work through the checklist. But don't let the 40 don't let this 45 minutes go to waste and say, oh, well, he gave us all sorts of ideas, because no one becomes great with an idea. Everybody's got ideas. But the one day that Jeff Bezos said, what if I sold books by mail? And no one else, other people thought of that. He's not the first guy that thought of it. Starbucks wasn't the first one to think of, we roast our coffee and then we're going to make it and serve it, and wasn't the first one that did that. Same with Lululemon. People had yoga clothing, but at some point somebody said, but I've got the idea how I'm going to make it different. And that's what it takes. I've been doing this for 35 years, and every day I learn something, and it's always something new, but you got to be focused and know who you are. And I think so many gift stores and smaller boutiques, we try to be everything to everybody. And I think you're just going to be better off if you understand, who is my customer? How am I speaking to them in my store? How am I speaking to them online? And how am I speaking to them in CRM? And the last thing is, yeah, it's great to have people like you on Instagram, but that's not your customer. That's Zuckerberg's. The only ones that matter are people that you own yourself. So that's why you want to get everybody's email address, get all their contact information, and go old school like some of my clients and send out a direct mail postcard around 3 to 5 miles of your store, maybe with your t-shirts if you think there's enough market there. But just don't be boring, and look at that website and consider that that opening image looks like you are, I go there to make jewelry. That's what it looks like. And I don't think that's what you're intending. And if I don't get off of here, I'm going to keep talking. So there you go.
I know. I'm like, this is just gold, Bob. Oh
Yep.
my goodness. Taylor, any final words
Amazing.
from you?
Thank you both so much for this. So much information. I really, really appreciate the time that you both took.
Yeah, we're happy to do so. Taylor, like Bob said, you got to take action. And everybody on this call, I hope you take action from what you learned today, too. Bob, thank you for your time. Taylor, thanks for being here and opening up. Bob, one more plug. How can people learn more and connect with you?
Funny you should ask. You can go to retaildoc.com. That's retaildoc.com. You can go to the blog there. I've got 1,000 blogs you can see, and you can sign up to be on my newsletter list. And I send out a newsletter every Sunday night religiously. And if you're looking to grow your sales and you want to get the college level course of how do you actually do it, where 83% of our users report a double digit increase within 6 months, then I encourage you to check out SalesRx, SalesRx.com, where we use AI generated role play to help humans be more human and sell more merch in their stores.
Amazing. And Taylor, we'll link to all your socials. We encourage everybody to go follow you, check you out, connect with you. We'll link to everything that you just said too, Bob. Both of you, thank you so much. And everyone, remember that I'm rooting for your success. Have a great week ahead. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to the Rooted in Retail podcast. It means the world to me to have you here. If you find value in this show and you listen on an iPhone, if you could leave a review on Apple Podcast app, that would be amazing. And if you watch YouTube, if you're a YouTube subscriber, we film this. And so if you rather watch the show, you can also do that over on YouTube. Again, thank you for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode.